Welcome to Maybe We Can Help, the podcast where we discuss random topics and we give our unsolicited advice. I am Tasia.
I'm Sheena.
I'm Risha.
And we also have a guest in the background. He is our male perspective for today. He is my husband, Aaron. So if you hear him, that's who it is.
What's up, everybody?
He's going to help us out with our topic on today, and it's called double standards. So we thought it would be great to bring in a male perspective to kind of help us out on today. Double standards, though. I have two of us have brothers. Well, we all have brothers, but
I just
to be
didn't
raised in
live
a household.
in the household with my brothers growing up.
Yeah. So two of us did live in a household with brothers, and one of us did not. So it is different from you because you had two sisters. You had a sister, but we had brothers. But I was
I
my
have a sister as well.
Yeah, you do have
Two
a sister.
sisters, actually.
I have a sister too, but she wasn't in the household with me, so we didn't have to deal with none of
I
that.
don't have a sister in the house. So.
But me and my brother had such a big age gap. I didn't see a lot of double standards with us, but I did hear about it. He can do this because he's a boy. Like,
Yes.
what does that mean? I don't care. I want to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem fair, but we're going to talk about that today, y'all. Double standards. Rock with us. All right? Sheena?
Okay. So I think that double standards, of course, traditionally, it was always the men who could pretty much do everything. I mean, it wasn't too long ago that we were fighting just for women to have rights of anything, voting,
1920 to be exact.
right.
Oh, really? Oh, no, it's not.
And so, and even though that sounds a long time ago, we're talking about like our great grandmother, so. And I actually knew my great grandmother. I know some people don't know their great grandmothers, but I knew my great grandmother. Like, she was still cognitive, working. She was still cleaning the house and cooking and stuff when I was, smaller. And so I can remember her. So her lifetime was, that whole fighting for women's rights thing. And I think that a lot of them come from that. Men get to do this and women can't. That's where I feel like, things kind of stem from.
It started there.
So what do you feel like some of the things that men can do technically that women are not supposed to do or supposed to not do?
Things that I agree with, or
just some things that you've heard, like what are the
gosh.
stereotypes of the standards?
Well, they can always pretty much have a significant other earlier, or they can start dating earlier. Like, they can start dating in like 13, 14. No, you can't. A girl can't date until you 18 or 16.
So when did your
17.
mother allow you to start dating?
I don't know
though?
when she allowed me, but I know when I started. I don't know when her allow was. Honestly, I really can't.
I'm pretty sure you was 15, 14, 15.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was what she allowed. But I was talking to boys before then. But I think my first official was like that. But she just
15,
didn't know about it.
What about you?
My mother told me I could, date like probably at like my sweet 16. But however,
What about your brothers?
I did, but I personally, I did, talk to guys when I wanted to. From elementary school on, I thought, that's my boyfriend.
Yep.
Not even knowing what a boyfriend was. But what was your question?
She asked.
What was your question?
I honestly don't remember because she had asked you a question. I thought you was gonna answer. You
the age.
Yeah,
What
age
age
did you start?
Yeah, what
Yeah,
brothers
did
did you start?
Yeah.
My brothers were.
Because you said 16 for you.
I do not remember Mama ever giving them an age. Ever.
Yep.
She actually sat us down and told us, but I do not remember her necessarily giving them
an age.
So you don't know if y'all parents gave
could've
like
happened,
y'all
I just
brothers the
wasn't
birds and the bees
sure.
talk?
I don't even know if she gave them the
Did
birds
she
and
give
the
you the birds and the bees
No,
talk?
not really.
Did you have the birds and the bees talk?
To a certain degree. It wasn't, like health
Mm-hmm.
type
Yeah,
of.
it wasn't
in
health.
depth. It was more like, don't you let these little fast girls, talk you into doing nothing. You ain't got no business. That type of thing. Like, and then I kind of think I figured things out for myself for the most part. But you would have those times where my mom would be like, okay, now if you're gonna be a lady, you have to have standards, and
Right.
you don't want to let people push you into things. It was a really, I'll say, surface.
Yeah, I would
discussion.
agree. It was
Yeah.
surface discussion.
But I
yeah.
understood what she meant.
But I don't know about my brother.
As crazy as it is, like I don't I don't remember having a conversation with my mom growing up, and that's probably on a whole nother topic of like parenting, but like with daughters and mothers. But yeah, I didn't have that like you can't date at a certain time or don't have sex type of topic. Like none of that was like
Yeah, I didn't have
I just
that either.
literally figured it out.
Yeah.
Like and I
Figured
have
it out.
like a small amount of people as far as friends, and of course I always have my church family, but I just figured it out.
Yeah.
So did you know your mama was never like, don't you get out there and be fast?
No.
Never. Wow. Okay.
No.
Me and Risha were
she-
kind of we
we had
navigated
each other like
our
from
life
11.
together. Yeah. So yeah, we navigated that
Yeah.
portion.
And
of
she
our life
wasn't
for a long time.
fast, and I wasn't fast. And
So we was
usually you
chilling.
always got that balance of friend is trying to pull one more than the other. So parents got to like, now you come from
Reel you
them
back
over there,
in.
they be around them boys, you know what I'm saying, or something. But our parents didn't have that because we weren't like that.
You were together and
Yeah.
they knew you. Okay.
You have a son, so do you? And you have a son, and you have a daughter. They're both teenagers. Do you have separate talks about standards, or they're the same talk? Like it's the same basis of talk.
Well, it's about the same. My son and daughter I told them they were allowed to date when they got 15.
Both of them.
Yes.
Okay, so no double standards there. Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
I felt like it was, and I feel like you got to know your kids too, like their maturity level, what they can handle.
For sure.
And so, I don't believe in having double standards, male versus female, but I do believe in separate parenting, if that makes sense.
I agree. I don't believe in when they what do they say, gentle parenting or
Right.
strict parenting. I believe in harmony parenting. And for those who you do not know, Harmony is my daughter. So I have harmony parenting, and when I have my son, whatever his name gonna be is, that's gonna be the parenting for him, because
That's
no
exactly how I
two
handle
children are
things.
alike. They're just
Absolutely.
not.
Right, absolutely. My daughter, which women tend to mature faster,
They do.
which makes no sense as to why we have to do things slower.
D-
But
I think it's honestly, it seemed as if it was the whole pregnancy thing. Every mom was afraid that their daughter was going to bring back a baby.
And not only
the
that,
daughter's
the
normally
fact
stuck with
that
the child.
women are
Yes.
emotional. Like women, like if you have a female genetics, like you can go out there and make any emotional decision.
Yes.
And of course, like the standard does come from like pregnancy scare, but women, we're emotional. Like
We are.
Yeah,
we will make a
if you
quick
don't have
decision.
it tamed right,
We'll
like,
make
if it's
a
not-
permanent decision off of a temporary emotion. Is what I
Right.
like to call it.
Right. And I feel like men, young boys, they know what they're doing early. Like they're not emotionally attached most of the time. They're not like, I'm going to marry her.
Mm-mm.
They're not thinking like that. Women are like, oh my God, we're going to grow up together.
Yes.
And
We're gonna be
get
high school
married,
sweethearts.
We're going to have
Mm.
children.
And honestly, I
They're
don't want to
not
use those
thinking like
words,
that.
but they just trying to bust it go.
That's it.
That's what
That's
little
it.
boys
And
are just
so
thinking
they
about.
right. And I think that's another thing people are trying to protect their daughters from, because we realize you will never make a smart emotional decision.
No.
You will never make a smart emotional decision. And so therefore, being that we are, without learning to interject logic into, your womanhood and, have, the mental capacity to think before you act, then, you're going to make a lot of emotional decisions at first. And
I'm gonna bring up a topic because we're talking about.
Tasia, before you do that, my question to you, Sheena, would be: at what age do you think you do get that mental capacity to be able to figure out, if you can make those big decisions as far as relationships and stuff like that? Like what age? Because I know they say men don't usually
They mature slowly.
they mature slowly. That's what they say. And
That's what happens.
usually, well, they say around 25, men usually gets that.
Thank you.
Around 25. You're saying around 25 men get their mature peak.
Yeah, that's universally.
And for
what's
women,
been
would
said.
you say it was?
I don't know. That's why I'm
18?
asking y'all. I don't think it's
I'd say
18.
I do.
but
I'll say
would.
18.
You think it's 18?
For women?
Yeah.
Most women leave quickly. Most women leave the house quicker than their male counterparts.
Yeah.
So hold on. Y'all are saying that a man's mental capacity is the same as a woman, as let's say the man
Yes,
gets
an 18-year-old
all the way
woman
there at 25.
and a 25-year-old man are equal. Yes, that's what we're saying.
Oh, I disagree.
18-year-old woman and a 25-year-old man. I feel like it all depends on environmental.
It does depend on
and
environment.
development
Right.
because
But we're
it
talking
could
about
be
right now. We're not
hypothetically
talking about.
speaking.
We're talking about statistically speaking, as far as maturity. I feel like when women turn 18, well, especially in predominantly African American household, we are literally taught to be independent. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to take care of stuff. You got to, like, my sister was already doing her own thing, full-time job, and
But that's not
car.
everybody though. That's why I said it's like
No, we're
a
talking about
hypothetical.
statistically.
Statistically, though, I don't think women are being taught that. I think women are being
Now, maybe not now. No,
maybe now.
I don't think
but
now.
Back,
I honestly, I pray
No,
for
no,
these
I
babies nowadays because I don't know if they have. They have
wasn't-
hope.
no,
They
but
have hope.
it's a difference. So I think back in the day, women were taught, okay, you need to cook, you need to clean, you need to do all this stuff,
Right.
and that was the thought process back then. I do think men should know those things too. Because if you're not gonna get married, once you're
gonna need
19,
help.
20, then you need to know how to do that stuff too.
Right.
But I think the thought process, as far as teaching women, is, or at least was, you need to learn how to cook. You need to learn how to clean
Take care
the
of
house.
things.
You need to learn how to do the laundry. You need to learn how to do all this stuff.
Put it like this. What I'm saying is that when it comes to relationships between male and female, most of the time women are, when they're graduating like high school and college and stuff like that, they're already thinking about their futures and whether or not they want a husband. Okay, I'll say that what I'm talking about is when it comes to like relationally between males and females. When a woman is graduating high school, about to go to college, all the type of things, she's 18 years old, she's already thinking about having a family, what she wants to do, what she wants to be, and who she even wants to be with. Like, I believe that a lot of women, even with, say if they are already fine, like their high school sweetheart or whatever, they'll be willing to just stay right there, like, and not go search nowhere.
That I can
Men
agree
are
when it comes
taught
to relationships.
to explore is what I mean.
So they're
but most of the time, like by the time they're 25 or so on and so forth, they're like, man, I don't want to be having a 1-year-old when I'm 30 something. So that's when they start thinking, maybe I want to
It's
settle
time
down,
to
maybe
settle a little
right.
bit.
And that's what I'm talking about. Not necessarily in the terms
like the
of
whole overall spectrum
right.
of a human being, but
right.
when
but
it comes
just
to relationships,
like when it comes to that we're talking about dating,
yeah, okay.
and stuff like that. I think that the 25-year-old man is at that place where he's like, what kind of family do I want to have? What kind of wife?
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
And they're
So
not ready
when a
to do
woman-
that at 18.
Exactly, but a woman is literally taught, and that's all she's thinks about. Men play with GI Joe. GI Joe ain't got no kids, but for us, we're literally playing with items that pertain to marriage. They giving us kitchen sets, and tea parties and baby dolls to change their diapers. So it's literally a subliminal message in our heads about being a wife before any of before we have all of that. So by the time we're 18, we're thinking about it.
Well, let me ask you this, Tay, because me and you got married early.
How old were you?
I was 24.
Oh, so right there at that age, huh?
But hold on, I was 24. You was 19. So what was your process? Your thought process about marriage and stuff like that.
I had wanted to be married my whole life. Not my whole life.
Right.
When I came
That's
to
most
Gateway,
women, though,
when I came to Gateway, and I came to Gateway around 13 or whatever, and I saw the lovely, cute
And Gateway
relationship.
is our church.
Oh, Gateway is our home church. Thank you, Lord. All of us go there. And I came to Gateway. I saw married people. I saw them having kids. And I was like, I want that. So I was 13, and I was like, that's what I want. I want that future. I want that husband. I want that family dynamic. That's what I want. So around 13, 14, that had already been clicked. That was the trajectory of my life, is going to be married with children.
So that's pretty much where you were, conditioned to think that way because of your environment.
Correct.
Right. And that's why I said sometimes it depends. based on statistics and everything, but it depends on the environment.
With
It's
any
so
person, that is true.
many
on a personal level,
right?
absolutely.
But that comes where or how what level of maturity they're even on, because you can say that, but what if a person is actually it's a guy that goes to the Navy or whatever military at 18 and he's actually mature, he's actually knows what he wants. He was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be out here cheating, I want my one wife, and he actually marries her. And then some people be together. I don't know if it happens nowadays, but I know back in the day, like they've been
That was
together
a
for like
possibility.
40 years.
Yes.
Like when you ask like some of our clients, they be like, yeah, me and my husband went to the military, got married when he was 18, 19, and they still been
together
together.
for a
Not
long
saying they
time.
ain't been through nothing. I don't know what happened in between,
Right.
but the
Right.
fact of the matter is
They're
they're
still
still
together.
But
together.
a man like that would still be technically considered an exception to the rule versus being the rule.
Right,
Because-
but it could be on his environment or how he was brought up.
Absolutely.
Because Aaron, I can put that question back on you because you grew up in the same church. So when did you start thinking? I was 13. So when did you start thinking about it? You grew up in the same church, around the same environment. So when did you start thinking about marriage?
So I didn't start thinking about marriage until, let's see, I was 24. I didn't start thinking about marriage, honestly, until I got serious about God,
And that was
22. But the thing was, at 22, I really like gave my heart over, but I backslid real hard, real hard. And so, I started going back out to the same mindset that I had before. Like I never thought about. I did sometimes think about who I'm gonna marry and stuff like that when I was younger, but my whole thought process as far as what I was doing on a day-to-day basis, it was okay, I'm going to this shindig, I'm going, you know what I'm saying, I'm
Not
going
shindig, yeah.
I'm going party, you know what I'm saying, I was doing house parties almost every night, you know what I'm saying. And so it wasn't until I really gave my life to Christ that it was like, okay, now I'm thinking about
Settling
marriage
down.
and stuff like that. And that's really when I started looking at you, because I mean, you were 19. Some people might say that was young for a 24-year-old, but regardless, that's when I really started, at 24, that's when I really started, thinking like, okay, I want to get married. And me and you were in the same church for years.
I mean, years.
And
Years.
I never once
I
looked
never
at
looked
you.
at you either.
I
I
mean,
never looked at you.
I never once looked
He
at
was
you.
the keyboard player, and that was it.
And she was in the choir.
I'm about to say it probably was nothing, honestly.
And it was like,
Probably wouldn't even pay no
okay.
attention to me.
I mean, me and Risha, it's like, oh yeah, I guess somewhere down the line we cousins or whatever, and y'all
Basically.
best friends, but I wasn't looking at you whatsoever. It wasn't until I really gave my life to Christ at 24, and you were already 19 at that moment, and that's when I saw you. I had never really saw you
That part.
until then.
Message.
Well, I mean,
You
so
can't see it
I didn't see
because
you.
you were blind.
I
but
was
now
blind at the moment, and so when I
see.
saw you, I pursued
Amazing
you, and
grace.
we are history now. But
Not history, but
Y'all making his
We're-
are making
we're
history.
making history.
True,
That's
very
whatever.
true.
let me pose
Whatever.
this question
That's
though.
that female.
Because we're talking about double standards, and but I'm trying to see how I can pose this. Players versus a promiscuous person.
Whoremongers. That's what it is, the whoremongers.
Are they the same? Can a player be male or female? Can a whoremonger be a male or female? What's the difference? Is there a difference?
yes,
what
for
is that?
all of that.
Yes, for
They're the same.
Yes, women can be players.
the same?
Yes,
Y'all
men
think
can be
so?
players.
I think so. They
Okay,
are
Yes,
okay.
men can be garden tools.
So
yes, women can
define
be
a
garden
player.
tools.
Okay, so I would say, I'm going to say yes, men and women can be garden tools, and yes, men and women can both be players.
What's a player?
But for me, a whoremonger, why are we saying that word?
Because we can't say the other word, the garden tool.
We don't want to
word.
say that word. That's not a.
So
The garden tool word, I think that person will sleep with anyone. That person has no standards. It's one night stand here, one night stand there, and maybe they might come back for again, but they might not. It's just kind of like, oh, go.
It's random.
Go. It's random.
Okay.
But a player is strategic. A player is going to have a roster. A player is going to have maybe 7 people.
They got standards with their promiscuity.
A player might have one person for a ride. I'm talking to this person because I need a ride every now and again. Another person, I like food. They go all they fulfill a need. Now, not saying they're not sleeping with any of these people, but I think a player is just more strategic, and it's a goal, and he will double back. He or she will double back. They're not just grabbing people out the crowd and going to go and
study their targets.
These are my people. It's not not saying they won't have a one night stand, because they might, but I doubt
if they do it with that intent.
Yes. Or if that's a one night stand, they might keep that person on that roster and they'll go back again.
Okay, that makes sense.
But whoremonger or garden tool will just tap and leave.
Tap and pass.
Tap and pass. Tap and pass. And they'll continue that cycle until they decide to stop, until their standards are raised higher or whatever. They'll just keep going.
Falls out.
They die from the diseases.
Oh man. Oh jeez.
I'm about to say something may just fall out.
But that's my difference between a player. A player plays with intention. A whoremonger does not. Because let's be honest, Risha.
And you can be a male and female. Can
let's be honest, Risha.
Any of those.
What are you trying to say?
Risha was a player. I'm gonna be honest,
but I didn't like. Well, let's.
I'm not saying you slept with these people, but Risha had a roster. She did.
Had a little black book in my phone.
She did.
It felt like
I'm just like Risha saying
but
this.
But I would just use it for conversation. I was a different type of player.
That's what I'm
saying.
I
was an emotional player. Like I want you to tap into my emotions.
Correct.
Like,
you
type
needed
of thing.
somebody to fulfill a need,
like,
so you had this one person to fulfill that.
Right.
That
I didn't need to go out on a date. One gotta be seen together. Just talk to me. Just talk.
So let me ask you a question. Were they your boyfriends?
Pretty. No.
Then you weren't a player.
Oh, so you have to be
why?
You have to have a title to be a player?
No, in my opinion,
I thought most
you're not playing someone unless you're lying to them or you're in a relationship. Well, if are they asking you for commitment?
Well, some. But
were you saying, "Oh yeah, we in a relationship"?
Oh no, I wasn't lying to them.
Right. Then you weren't playing them. You were just you were playing with them. But okay, put it like this: if you tell them like, "No, I'm not your girl. I'm not your girlfriend. We're talking." I don't know a teenager that kind of didn't do that, because if that's the case, then
but we're not even just teenage adults. Adults be doing that,
right? Adults, but technically, okay, like the females now that are saying, "I'm going to date," even if they're dating for marriage and they're talking to several people, they're not committed to anyone. You know, they're not sleeping with anyone. I'm just trying to find out who fits me best. Are these people players?
No, because they're dating with intention. And my thing is, a player is not dating with intention for an end game.
A player was in a relationship. Period.
Yeah, a player isn't dating for end game. A player is not even dating. A player is talking to fulfill their need.
Right.
They don't need you they don't need you, but they want you to fulfill a need that they have. But they don't want to be
money.
They don't want to be committed. That's the thing.
House, shelter. You know the people
they
that
need
just
something.
Be like,
they need a need, and you're fulfilling that need for now until they find someone better.
I thought that being a player was playing with people, like
as far as go ahead.
That's what I thought.
I feel like it's using people. I mean, I feel like it's different. I feel like it could be different calibers of players, but the particular player that we're talking about compared to promiscuity. That word. Yeah. So I feel like those are the type of things. But I mean, I get the player that you're talking about.
So you would say players and whoremongers is the same thing?
No. I love the way you put it. And you know what I'm saying? Me personally, I never thought about the categories or anything like that.
Yeah, you could break it down into some stuff.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, because to me, they were all in one big pile. You know?
Stay away from that whole
after
pile.
this conversation, I can separate, okay, this is a player. This is a whoremonger. You know? The chips fall where they might. But let me ask this, since we have a male perspective here. Aaron, do you agree with? Because I love that perspective. I think it cleared up a lot for me. But do you agree with that? And where do you like? Where would you? How would you categorize things?
Well, I think there definitely is a distinction between a whoremonger and a player because I feel like a whoremonger will sleep with anything.
So the same. You feel the same. You agree?
Yeah, I feel like
Very
a
much
whoremonger
so.
will sleep with anything, but a player, it's a game. So I could sleep with this person, but
You
I
ain't
feel like
sleeping with
this
nobody.
Okay. Well,
Billy.
Billy.
Billy could sleep with this person,
Uh-huh.
but Billy could sleep with this other person that they feel like maybe looks better or, is better than the one that they could sleep with that night. So they, like, I don't know who said
Strategic.
it, but they have greater standards.
Strategy.
And so they're like, okay, I'm going to see how I can maneuver around your objections and end up getting with you. And so now, once I get with you, I got you on my team. Now, I can keep you on my team as long as I can keep you on my team. Now, once you get to a point where you're difficult, then you just going to be
You
off.
cut from the team.
And I'm going to another person. You know what I'm saying? But I think
When you start wanting more, a player is going to reject you at that point.
I think so,
Absolutely.
but I think, as far as the difference between a whoremonger and a player, I think it's just higher standards. I think a whoremonger.
levels
Which is,
to it.
but the crazy part is the standards ain't but so high, cause you still sleeping around. It's
Well,
still
it
like
de-
you're
it-
forever.
It depends.
Well,
Because,
like she said, she was a player, but she wasn't sleeping with
That's
her
what I'm saying.
roster.
But
She
would
was
you?
just-
but
would
that's
you
the
have
female
married?
perspective.
But would you have married any of the ones you were playing with?
Well, I mean, you
Absolutely not.
I think it was
hear
one.
me out. The
I think it
old
was one.
mindset, I probably could have married about two of them because of the emotional connection. Remember when the last podcast was talking about the 30%? A lot of people was giving 97 emotional. So I was stuck on a good two people that could have probably just crossed that border just based
Had they
off
put in the effort.
of having that emotional connection with me.
Well, I'm going to ask this question, and I'm going to answer it from a male's perspective first, and then I'm going to get it from the female perspective. So, as a player, are you playing to have an end game, as in far as to find somebody as a female? Now, as a male, I can tell you, dudes go through a point in their life where they're like,
Garden too.
a lot of dudes where they are guarded too, and it kind of gets mashed up because it's like your whole goal, unfortunately, as a guy, a lot of times is I'm just trying to smash, and so it's not really about trying to find something long term. As a player, they're like, okay, I'm just trying to get it in where I can get it in. And if you don't want to get it in, then I'm going to the next because it's millions of y'all out there. And so, as a player, from a male perspective, it's not really a long-term goal. It's just I'm trying to get something for the night. I'm trying to get something next night. I'm trying to do this and that.
Right.
And then whenever I finish, maybe I'll look for somebody that I can spend my life with.
Right.
But as a female, let's say from a female perspective as a player, are y'all looking for an end goal as a player?
I think that's the hope.
Yes,
I think
I
that's
would
right.
say I said you don't want to play for so long. I'm just doing this until I can get to what I want.
Right. Trying to
Right.
figure out
Yeah.
which one of y'all it is.
Yeah,
And that's why I was saying, like, as far as a player,
for a woman.
that's why I felt like a player is someone who's literally playing with the person. Like, I have no intentions of
a
marrying
lot of
you.
women.
That's what
are,
I thought.
I mean, women
was.
nowadays, they lethal. And now y'all might not agree with this, but I just feel like a lot of people, like a lot of men, because I was watching some movie, I was like, man, men were so bad to women. Like
A lot of the
like,
times, that's
not
true.
saying all of them, not at all, because I don't believe that all of them were bad, not at all, but
Just
a
the
lot
majority, a large
were
number.
bad to women, and I just think they reaping what they sow. I think their daughters is coming back, and they is treating these men like trash. They are playing with these men. They are getting what they want from these men, and they don't care. They really don't care. Like, there are a lot of women who are trying to take back their control, and I'm not saying it's a good thing, because
not
the way
right?
that a lot of them are doing it isn't, ladylike to me, for my standards.
It's going
but
to create more of the problem.
correct,
Right, in
I don't
a more aggressive way for the next generation.
Yeah. So I don't agree, but I just think
they be like, "Oh, you slash his tires? Oh, I'm blowing up jobs." Like, ma'am, excuse me.
With these men in a way that
they're taking good ones,
yes,
and they're toying with them so bad that they're turning them bad.
Yes, and the same. I mean, it's the same thing men
have done for
years. Unfortunately,
spoils the bunch.
Well, men definitely can be trash a lot of the times, but
I don't think all.
No, of course not. But I would ask y'all, like, I hear everything y'all saying, and of course I try to engage with y'all topic and what y'all was thinking. But my question would be, do y'all really even think women can really be players?
Yes, especially now, because they're dating with no intent to marry, or no intent to, like, the girls that you talk to now, a lot of them don't, like, we work in a salon, so a lot of the times we will talk about things that you wouldn't even really normally talk about outside of a safe environment where you feel safe, and we are really good at creating that. So we hear from these women, a lot of them, they're like, I don't want to be married.
Care.
I remember going to the salon, and when I was younger with my mom, and even being younger and getting like relaxers and stuff like that, and just hearing women talk about how they couldn't wait to get married, or even being in a youth group. We used to have a youth group called it was a purity class, and all the young ladies, we were still Cinderella, and Beauty and the Beast, and finding that one that is going to solve all your problems, or fall in love with you, and whatever, and these girls are like, don't nobody want that. When you listen to them now,
in his bag.
There are a group of women, I don't know these people, but I think it was on another podcast. They was like, do you want kids? She was like, yeah. Well, do you want to be married? She was like, no. I was just like,
right, because they're like, they don't see the value in it anymore. They watch their mama, and they heard the stories, and they see the TV shows and the movies, and they have access to the internet and all the different things that they have access to. And they see more people becoming heartbroken from and then they're looking at all the women who are single or divorced,
or getting cheated on,
and they get cheated on, they get heartbroken, even if they stay and they're in a relationship. How many women can say they are in a relationship and their man has never cheated on them or made them feel less than? And I think that they're kind of making they're looking at, and they're realizing the math ain't math.
So, Sheena, I know you talked about, being in the salon and women talking about, guys that they really didn't care about, and, they won't try to get married and stuff like that. Are they players, or are they whoremongers?
They don't consider it that anymore. Nowadays, they say that they are, it's a mutual contract. So they don't consider themselves either.
But our mileages run different than men.
I wouldn't say
it runs different. It's weighted different, shall I say? Because you can have the same amount of body counts, but your value inside is different from just a man that has the same.
And a lot of people don't like this conversation, but when you keep putting something into that hole, it really can. It doesn't like deteriorate, but like.
You ever lose this elasticity?
You ever seen that video of a guy? He had a cup of water. He said, "You see this? 20 women can touch this cup and nothing happens." He said, "I put my hands in here. Like 20 people could put their hands in there, and that water is contaminated. It's nasty because we have.
That's what happens to our body. you go inside and you leave traces of yourself. So
All the
imagine 20
time.
people leaving traces of themselves
Right.
inside of you.
Not only-
Imagine 40 people leaving
and then
yourself.
they release millions of sperm.
If you let them do that into you, it's
Right.
millions.
Millions.
It is millions.
of just dead.
And of course, they
bodies.
die. And they die
Right,
out, and
and
it
they-
will clean itself. But their traces, scientifically, is
Yep.
still there.
Right. So those
You can tell for
ladies,
a
those
amount
you
of
who don't
time.
know,
Don't
they
do
can
that.
literally. Why do you think
And you-
rape kits and stuff like that?
And because
After after weeks and months, like they can literally
as long
still
as,
go
as
in
long
there
as they're
and
not,
swipe.
as long as they didn't wash, I think it is. But like if you sleep with one man one night and then someone else like the same night or the next night, that you can have twins by two different men.
No, you don't understand. No, they have dug up bodies
Mm-hmm.
and they took a swab because they suspected something else or
Mhm.
rape or something like that. They dig the body up and they go take a swab of the inside of the
Of the
vagina
body.
and take out the dead semen and see if there's any of his DNA present, and it's still there.
Honey. Mm.
It's still there
That's
as long as
tough.
the body is not completely deteriorated.
So would you call
So-
them whoremongers?
Like I said,
Anybody,
they don't-
honestly, for
like I
me,
said, it's different terminology these days, and they're like, no, because he know what I'm doing.
men and
It
women
don't
both.
matter what
If
they know.
men and
Just-
women both, to me, if you are sleeping around
That
with
part,
multiple people, you are in the same boat.
that is it.
It's the
Man
GTs.
and a woman. Yes,
is it.
you are leaving more traces in that woman, but I measure you the same as her.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to look
Absolutely.
at her any different. Yes, your DNA might be still in her.
Absolutely.
I'm measuring you the same because you just did exactly what she just did.
So let's
Absolutely.
bring it home.
Mm-hmm.
Is the body count what makes a player and a whoremonger a whoremonger, or is it just because a player's sleeping around too?
I think it's just having multiple partners.
And a
And
player
a
is
player-
strategic.
Then a player and a whoremonger the same thing.
I think that
The
they're
player's
similar,
strategic.
but it's just right.
A player
the
don't
thing
always
that makes
have
that
to sleep
separates
with
them
you.
is being strategic. However, the danger of having multiple partners still exists for both a player and a whoremonger.
And
So-
players don't always sleep with people. They could
But
be
that's
using
their-
them for a
Women,
ride.
I think women
Motivation,
players.
though.
I think women players. I think I'm gonna say that for women
Yes, because a woman's
well,
I don't
motivation
think
is
a man
different.
is going to play with the woman to talk to her.
Okay, well,
Never.
women
Never.
players don't
Right.
always sleep with them. How shall I say? Speaking on the old player from the past,
Absolutely.
Well, then I'm gonna be honest. I don't think a
because I
woman
know
can be a
full
player.
well. You said what?
I don't think a woman
I
can
think
be
she
a player
can nowadays because she no longer wants to be married.
because she's got the mentality of a man now.
Right.
But I'm like, okay, a player, a man player, and a whoremonger are the same thing. A player is just a higher caliber whoremonger.
Right. So it's just like basically from a prostitute and an escort.
Pretty much. But
Yeah,
as
in the
far
same
as,
boat, too.
as far as women go, that's why I don't think y'all can be players.
The emotions,
Not as far as what Risha was talking about.
the emotions.
As far as emotional, like just trying to connect, I don't think that's a player. I think that's just somebody that's,
Dating.
People.
They're dating.
I think that's dating.
That's dating, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, even now, I mean, I plan to date, in the future, and I don't. And if I find interest, I mean, dating sites is the way to go, especially with my schedule. So technically, when I get on the dating site, if the minute I message more than one person, I'm a player.
No,
No,
you're
because-
actively trying. Like these are people.
But
That
that's what I'm doing though. I'm emotionally because even with you were still saying that you still had that hope of finding that one.
But she wasn't doing it in a thought process
Strategic
of trying to
way.
sleep
Right.
with somebody.
Right.
She
Or
was
trying,
doing it.
or trying to be with them. It was just building. They were just for my boredom, like to talk to me and
Until
to
that
build,
one
like, an
came.
emotion. Right, like they didn't.
They were
fulfill-
holding places.
Right.
Right.
They were holding
Okay.
places. So is that a player?
That's a great question. I was actually thinking about
'Cause
that.
They
That's
were
what I
just
said.
holding places.
that might just
holding
that
places.
might just be playing with people.
That's what
I
a
don't
player
know.
is.
No, I don't know. You ever seen the movie How to Be a Player?
Yes.
That Negro wasn't just playing with people. He was trying to sleep with them. Every
Right.
single one he
But
got.
I'm talking about from a so that's why I said we have to define a player, because to me a player in my mind
I think it's different between a
understand
man and a woman.
Facts.
Right.
But with the women, I'm telling you, it ain't always
we
sexual.
all different,
That's
have
all
different
I'm
reasons for
saying.
entering the game.
I think a player has like we have already established, a male player does have higher standards. He doesn't want his body count to be but so high. So he's
Facts.
keeping
I'm
the
sorry,
same.
what you say?
I don't know about that.
Oh
one.
man.
No. Listen.
I don't know about that
Listen
one.
to where I'm.
I just feel like he has a roster.
Can you listen?
And I feel like
She got to go somewhere with
You
it.
know what I'm saying?
Go
So-
ahead, cause I ain't got to where you going.
Let
Go
it
ahead.
go.
I
Let it
understand.
go. Let my best friend
a
fly.
whoremonger doesn't care about their body count. A player, I think, like I said, he's more strategic. He's a little bit more classier. He keeps the same 14 people on his roster. So his body
Absolutely.
count.
No, I
So
disagree
his
with
body
that.
count
I
is
disagree with
14.
that.
Absolutely
No,
not.
because if he sees another
Absolutely not.
girl, that's fine. He's
But
like,
that is
ooh, I
not-
can add her to the
But
roster.
that's gonna knock one off the roster,
gonna
and he's
knock
gonna add
one.
another.
No,
He
it ain't.
No,
replacing.
he's not.
No, it ain't.
How
No,
y'all
he's
know?
not.
How y'all know?
Because I got brothers, 6 of them to be exact.
So they was
I've never
whoremongers
seen them
is
A
what
not.
you're saying.
player is
Any
going
of
to
them
keep
off.
these same people on their roster. I think that's the difference.
I disagree with that.
I disagree,
I
too.
think a player is going to keep the same people until one gets knocked off
No.
or one gets replaced. And we don't. It doesn't matter the
I don't think
numbers,
so.
but it's because I think the difference
He
is
might forget your birthday because he
I
added
don't
too
think he's
many,
not
but he's
dating
not going to
you.
just stop adding.
he's not dating
that
you.
nigga
No,
that cat don't even care about your birthday.
He's not
No, I'm
dating
saying
you.
that, like basically, she's the way she's describing it. If that you're keeping the same exact 14 people.
Yeah, no, that's not all how it works.
You know what I'm saying?
Not even
I- the
close.
way
well, by,
she's
well, then
describing
by
it.
your standards, of course, a player is going to be a whoremonger. But
That's my point. That just
I
a
don't
higher
think that.
caliber
But she's
whoremonger.
giving you her thought of
Yeah.
what makes them different as far as a player being strategic, because they have to be able to play the game.
Of
And a
course.
whoremonger doesn't care who knows
About playing
who.
that game.
If
You
you,
notice-
walk into the store with them and be like, "Yeah, I slept with her last night," that's a whoremonger. They're not gonna care. A
the
player
po-
is gonna try to duck and dodge the person they just slept with because they don't want the two to be in the room because they need
they
them
want
to
to
still
keep
be
them
on the field.
both on the
True,
field.
but the end result is they still don't really want to be with them long term.
I agree.
Right,
That's not
but that's
my-
not
So
the
that-
argument.
So
That's
then
not the
both
argument.
of those are still whoremongers because neither one of them want to be with the person long term. They just want to
She
get
didn't
off.
say that they weren't the same. They just said they're more strategic, so it's
Oh,
not
of
as
course, I agree
wide
with that.
as variety
It's
as a
not.
whoremonger
I
would be
agree
careless.
with that. But what she said was that you're gonna have a
You gotta knock one
roster
off
of
to-
14
yeah.
people and
Oh,
knock one off.
I
You
said-
ain't-
I said
ain't-
the number-
They ain't knocking nobody off. They keeping every single one they can, and if one fall off, they can fall off.
Right.
They
And then
still
I-
got a bunch left.
So then it's a fine line then, because I think some players keep the same, and like I said, I think some players will keep the same amount of people they
I don't think
want,
anybody's that
and
strategic.
each. I think they are.
Oh no, I think people.
I think they are.
But
I don't think that.
I think they are, and I think because they don't want a relationship, they want to keep those same people right where they are. They want to sleep with them when they want to sleep with them, but they don't want to go out and have to find somebody new. So
oh,
I
no,
can
no,
make this phone
disagree.
call and I can sleep with her when I'm ready to sleep with her. I don't want to sleep with her today.
Here's the thing
or
about a
him.
player. Here's the thing about a player. They have those people for when they go out and they can't find nobody. It's not about them not wanting to go out and find
I'm
nobody.
about to watch how to be
Dudes
a player again.
always want to find somebody new.
Facts.
It's not about them finding somebody new.
So what age does that stop for men?
It's
It
no
doesn't
age.
have to.
It's no age.
'Cause
It's
I
all
mean,
about their mentality.
we
And
are-
to be honest with you, in this day and age, is if you find God or not. Because no offense, if you don't find God, dudes just want to do what they want to do.
Or
And so-
or standards. You get what I'm saying?
Or standards.
You know, because some people are like, you know, I don't want to keep doing this forever. You know what I'm saying? And they don't
Right.
believe in God, but they're just like, you got to realize at some point that
Fair
it's
point.
a circle, and you're kind of just spinning
The
wheels.
same
You
thing.
know, when you
Amen.
and the crazy
I
part
know
is,
that. I know y'all be going to bed lonely at night. I
Let me
know
ask y'all
y'all
a
be
question.
lonely.
How many billionaires, not millionaires, but billionaires, don't have a wife?
Hold on, let me think. A wife? Oprah ain't got a husband. Well, I don't know. If she
No, she's not married, but she has a significant
Stedman is so comfortable.
other. Like basically don't have
Hold
I
on,
don't
hold
know.
on.
wife,
Do you
Dr.
have a
Dre?
number?
Did he
he's a
remarry?
billionaire.
I think he was. He was a
I'm
billionaire.
sorry. Every
Yes.
billionaire I know has a wife or got divorced after they was a billionaire.
I don't really know. But this conversation is getting really good. It's gonna need a part 2. We don't want to keep y'all too long. We done kept y'all long enough. So come back next time, and hopefully we're gonna start where we left off. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. I am Tasia,
I'm Sheena.
I'm Risha.
and back there you can't see him, but
What it is, this Aaron.
and join us next time for another episode of Maybe We Can Help. Please like and share and subscribe to our channel, and please leave comments, any
For
questions.
sure.
Anything you might want to ask us, we would love to discuss it on our platform. So maybe we can help. I hope we helped you tonight. Join us next time. Bye.